Today we want to try and beat every single Pokemon champion, and there is a lot of them, as Officer Jenny. What if Officer Jenny decided to leave the police and decided to take on all the champions? With a pretty unique set of Pokemon, could she do it? Let's find out. And if a Pokemon faints, it's gone from the whole run and I can't use any items in battle. Full rules are in the description below. Let's get started. First up is Pokemon Fire Red, and we have the champion for this game, Blue. We've got some powerful Pokemon and some not so powerful, but we do match up great versus his team. Blue's lead is Pidgeot and we lead off with Manectric. That looks shiny, but it's actually not. Crazy, I know. With a super effective Thunderbolt, Manectric makes short work of Blue's first Pokemon. Second, he sends out Rhydon. We can swap into Jumpluff for free on the Earthquake, and we are faster, so a Giga Drain from our Flying Grass type demolishes Rhydon. So far, so good. Blue's third Pokemon is Arcanine, and honestly, we really don't have a great answer. I swapped to Granbull, but a Flamethrower does close to half to us. I then take another Flamethrower to 26 HP, and an Earthquake brings Arcanine to a Sliver. I think Blue will full restore now, but I can't risk losing Granbull, so we go into Manectric, as he does in fact heal. We are faster, and a Thunderbolt brings him low before a Flamethrower really hurts us and burns us. We can finish off Arcanine with another electric attack, and Blue sends out Alakazam. We take burn damage, and now we're in the red too. I go into my Arcanine as the Psychic does a great chunk to us, but our Flamethrower puts him in the red. A Psychic puts us in the red too. Our team isn't really bulky. I extreme speed, but Blue full restores, and the extreme speed does half as well. So another priority attack from Arcanine, and down goes Alakazam. Blue sends out his Ace Blastoise next, and we can swap into Jumpluff on the Hydro Pump. We Giga Drain for nearly half as he sets up the Rain Dance. Our next Giga Drain doesn't quite kill, and Blastoise misses his attack thankfully. A couple more Giga Drains, and down he goes with no problem. Blue sends out the three-headed Eggplant next, and I swap to Spinarak as we get put to sleep. I burn a Turn Asleep as he misses an Egg Bomb. I burn another Turn Asleep, and this time an Egg Bomb does massive damage to us. I now switch into Parasect as he critical hits at Egg Bomb. We're actually in trouble already. Our only healthy member is Jumpluff, and we have low PP of Giga Drain that he resists as well. We manage to get him to half before he puts us to sleep, and we're at Giga Drain PP. I look at my team, and it's actually destroyed. We have to sacrifice someone here, so I choose Spinarak. We swap, and he misses an Egg Bomb. I go for a Sludge Bomb, and Spinarak wakes up and hits it, taking out Executor and winning us a deathless fight. Phew, that was pretty close. At least we got through deathless. On to the next champion. Lance is the champion of Johto and the next we face. I think we can do big damage to his team, but if we don't one-shot Pokemon, I'm scared of the damage he'll do to us. Let's try it. Lance leads off with Gyarados, and our lead is Manectric. It's an easy first knockout with a 4-time super effective Thunderbolt from our electric dog. His second choice is his ace straight away, a level 50 Dragonite. I don't trust one-shotting it with hidden power, so I swap into Arcanine and get off the Intimidate that lowers his attack, as his Outrage looks like we can live just another one. I hit a hidden Power Ice to put him on a Sliver that activates his berry, also healing him. We take an Outrage to 18 HP, and then we can take him down with another HP Ice. His answer now is Aerodactyl, and we've got to switch. So I go into Granbull to Intimidate as he hits a weak Aerial Ace on the switch. We then take a Rock Slide to less than half before a Freezing Ice Punch takes care of the prehistoric bird. Next is his second Dragonite, the level 49 one. I don't want to risk losing Granbull, so I make a swap to Jumpluff as we dodge a Dragon Rush. I set up Leech Seed, and he goes for a Thunder Wave, paralyzing us. I now swap back into Manectric as a Dragon Rush connects, nearly taking us out, but he gets staticked from our ability, and we get a little bit of recovery and damage from Leech Seed. A hidden power now should kill, and thankfully it does. But now he has another Dragonite we have to deal with. I swap to Granbull for an Intimidate as he luckily dodges another Dragon Rush. I stay in, and he Blizzards, putting us on only 13 HP before a Freezing Ice Punch takes him out also. Lance's last Pokemon is Charizard. I have zero switch-ins, we need to get into Manectric, so I choose to take our first death already with our weakest member Spinarak, whose time has come and goes down to a Fire Fang. RIP little spider. This gives us our free swap to Manectric, we outspeed, and a Thunderbolt ends Lance. Now we go to Hoenn, where two champions await us. In Pokemon Ruby, Steven is the champion. His team is pretty strong, but he has a lot of rock types, and I think Officer Jenny's Pokemon can deal with them. We've subbed in Ghastly for our fallen Spinarak. Steven's lead is Skarmory, and Manectric is our best lead yet again. With a super effective Thunderbolt, we take down his first Pokemon with ease. Second, he sends out Aggron, and a familiar strategy is to swap into Jumpluff on the incoming Earthquake to dodge it. We are faster, and a Giga Drain does close to half as he misses a Thunder. I set up Leech Seed, and he connects a Thunder, doing a tiny amount of damage to us. With the final Giga Drain, we take down Aggron. Claydol goes down pretty fast to 2 Giga Drains after throwing some rocks at us, and then Steven sends out Cradilly. We swap to Granbull and we get hit with a critical hit Ancient Power. We Earthquake for a little bit of damage, then a Giga Drain brings us low. We've got to switch. So I go into Arcanine on the Giga Drain that does 20 damage to us. We Flamethrower, putting Cradilly in the red as he throws rocks at us, but we tank it nicely. Steven then full restores, and I Hidden Power, which does over half to him now. With a final Hidden Power, we take down Cradilly. Steven now sends out his ace Metagross. I play it risky, stay in and Flamethrower, but we do enough damage for a one-hit knockout on the Psychic Steel type. Steven's last Pokemon is Armaldo. Our Flamethrower brings him low as he throws rocks at us again, putting us on only 10 HP, but our last Fiery Flamethrower ends at Ancient Bug, beating Steven. But we still have one more champion to face in Generation 3, and that champion is Wallace. He's a water type specialist, so this should be pretty easy with a Jumpluff and a Manectric on our team. Let's do it. Wallace's lead is a powerful Wailord, and we lead off with Manectric, a familiar lead from us now. One super effective Thunderbolt takes care of the massive whale. His answer to us is Gyarados, but he's 4 times weak to electric too, so another Thunderbolt, and this is looking really good. Wallace now sends out Whiscash. We swap into Jumpluff while he sets up an Amnesia, boosting his special defense. The next turn we hit a 4 times effective Giga Drain that does over half to him as he Amnesias again. I set up a Leech Seed to get some chip damage as he hits a really weak Surf. Now, even with his defense boost, we've done just enough to pick up the knockout with a Giga Drain, without him full restoring. Now Wallace sends out Milotic. I swap into Manectric as we take an Ice Beam that does a good amount to us. We then Thunderbolt, putting him in the red as a Surf we barely survive, putting us on only 18 HP. His Berry activates, putting him out of full restore range, so another Electrifying Thunderbolt and down he goes. Wallace's 5th Pokemon is Tentacruel. I think a poison move is coming, so I swap into Ghastly, but he Hydro Pumps and it just knocks us out in one hit. Fantastic. RIP Ghastly. I go into Parasect now, and we don't take a Sludge Bomb well either, and we get poisoned, but we do land a Spore to put him to sleep. Now I swap to Granbull as he doesn't wake up. We outspeed and an Earthquake makes short work of Tentacruel, leaving one Pokemon left, Ludicolo. We Thunder Punch and paralyze him, but we don't do too much as it's a special move in Gen 3. Yes, I finally remembered. And we take a Surf for nearly half. But with a stab return, Granbull takes down Ludicolo, beating Wallace and beating Generation 3. It's time for Sinnoh and Gen 4 now. The champion of the Sinnoh region is Cynthia, and the team is pretty scary. I'm actually really worried about losing Pokemon here. We swap out our Fallen Ghastly for Stunky now as well. Cynthia's lead is Spiritomb, and we lead off with Parasect for some spotlight time. We are faster, and we put him straight to sleep with Spore. Now we Swords Dance to a +2 attack, and then we go for another Swords Dance to get to a +4 attack as he stays asleep. Then with a massively boosted X-Scissor, we take down Spiritomb easily. Togekiss is her 2nd Pokemon, and we just have to swap. I can't risk it. We go into Manectric, who takes the Air Slash pretty well. Then we outspeed, and with our great special attack start, take down Togekiss with a single Thunderbolt. Now she sends out her ace, Garchomp. I do have Hidden Power Ice, so I make a risky play and go for it. We don't take it down, and Garchomp hits a Dragon Rush, but we survive it by the skin of our teeth on only 1 HP. That was close. With a final HP Ice, we can take him down, and I will definitely take that. Cynthia's next Pokemon is Lucario. We have an easy swap to Arcanine on the Dragon Pulse, which we take quite nicely. The next turn, we can take out Lucario with a Fiery Flamethrower. Cynthia's next Pokemon is Milotic. I swap to Parasect on a Surf, and it does nothing to us. We put it to sleep now with a Spore. We then go for a Swords Dance to raise our attack to +2. I Swords Dance again, but Milotic wakes up and Ice Beams us and freezes us. Not good. We then swap to Stunky on an Ice Beam, and he freezes us again. What is this look? I now swap into Granbull, and we go down to nearly half with Surf. We now return the Haxo with a critical hit return, taking down Milotic. That's Karma. Her last Pokemon is Roserade. We are faster, and a freezing Ice Punch to the face ends Roserade, defeating Cynthia deathless. I didn't see that coming, but we played it pretty well. Let's head to Gen 5 where 2 more champions await us. First up in Generation 5 is Alder, and like Cynthia, he's got a wide range of Pokemon with good type variety. However, he does have a weakness to fire, and we have an Arcanine. Let's see if we can capitalize on it. Our lead is Arcanine, and he leads a Selgor. For once, we're actually faster than this thing, and a Fiery Flamethrower makes super quick work of his first bug type. Now he sends out Bufalon. It's a threat, so I swap to Gramble to get off and Intimidate, lowering his attack. As he hits a Stone Edge, that critical hits. That's bad. We now swap back to Arcanine to put another Intimidate on him, but a Head Charge still does a nice chunk of damage to us. We hit a Flamethrower on the Buffalo for over half, as a Stone Edge even at -2 really hurts us. But we are faster, so our last Flamethrower takes him out. Alder for some reason chooses to go to a Escavalier, a Steel and Bug type, making it 4 times weak to fire, and a Flamethrower makes short work of his next Bug Pokemon too. Alder chooses Volcarona next, and I can't really hurt it. It might be able to take us out, so I swap into Manectric. He Hyper Beams us on the switch, and that nearly takes us out in just one attack. I know he has to recharge, so we Thunderbolt, but we don't quite do half. I don't want to risk a damage roll and potentially losing Manectric, but my stronger Pokemon are now all weakened, and the 2 that are not weak are weak to Volcarona, so I go into Stunky as we take a Bug Buzz to 5 HP. I decide to hope I outspeed and get off some more damage. A Shadow Ball does a little bit more before Volcarona kills Stunky with a Bug Buzz, putting us at 3 deaths, but that small amount of work Stunky did means Manectric can outspeed and definitely KO now with a Thunderbolt. Your sacrifice wasn't in vain, Stunky. Alder's next Pokemon is Druddigon. I swap to Jumpluff as he hits a weak payback. I then set up Leech Seed as he outrages us for massive damage, but we chip away with Leech Seed and get some HP back. I go for a Protect to get back more HP and some more damage, but now we've got to switch. I go into Parasect, who lives in Outrage, and get some more HP back. We thankfully land the Spore, and we are faster than him. I contemplate setting up, but I don't want to play stupidly here. I swap to Gramble knowing he will stay asleep, Intimidate, and heal up a bit more with Leech Seed. We outspeed and an Ice Punch takes down the dragon, leaving only 1 Pokemon left, and that's Vanillux. It's an easy switch to Arcanine, our fire type, and we tank the Blizzard very nicely. With a final Flamethrower, we melt the Ice Scream, beating Alder, but suffering another death. Let's head for our second champion of Unova now. Iris is the other champion of Unova, and the majority of her Pokemon are dragons. Honestly, I'm not sure how well we can fare with our team, but we have swapped out our last death with a Swanna, so we have another Ice move. Iris's lead is Hydreigon, and we lead off with Manectric. We are faster than him, and Hidden Power Ice brings him to half, as he hits a Dragon Pulse, bringing us super low. With another Hidden Power, we take him down, but at the cost of our Manectric basically. Iris's second Pokemon is Aggron. I swap to Gramble and get off the Intimidate and take a Double Edge for a good chunk of damage. We are faster, and an Earthquake swallows Aggron and knocks him out in one attack. Third is Druddigon. Parasect gets some more action now and takes a Focus Blast on the swap really well actually. We then outspeed and put him to sleep with a Spore. Now I Swords Dance and thankfully he stays asleep. We then hit an X-Scissor, nearly taking him down, but he wakes up and a Flamethrower means one thing, that's a dead Parasect. Damn, that sucks. In revenge, I go into my shiny Swanna and Iris heals Druddigon, but a freezing Ice Beam brings him all the way back down. One more Ice Beam and revenge for Parasect has been served. Iris now sends out Lapras. This thing has Thunderbolt, so I can't stay in. I go into Jumpluff, and this is a mistake. It still does a good amount of damage to us, and here is my misplay. I go for a Giga Drain, but we are not that great specially offensive. It doesn't kill, and Lapras hits an Ice Beam, and that is one dead Jumpluff too. 2 of our grass types gone. I go into Manectric and Thunderbolt to take down Lapras. Her Race Haxorus is out, and it's always a threat. I swap to Swanna as he Earthquakes, and we don't get hit. We outspeed in an Ice Beam, and we get the freeze too. I don't feel bad, we really need some luck. With a final Ice Beam, Swanna takes him down. Last but not least is Archeops. We're faster, we Ice Beam, and we freeze again, but he instantly falls out and hits a Rock Slide, bringing us to 68 HP. With a final Surf, Swanna can take down Archeops, beating Iris and Gen 5, but we lost some valuable Pokemon on the way. It's time to head to Kalos. In Pokemon X and Y, Dianthra is the champion, and who we take on next. We add a Luxray and a Chatot to our team, let me know if I said that wrong, in place of our fallen Pokemon, and I'm pretty happy about using a Chatot. Dianthra is usually an easy fight, so let's give it a shot. Hawlucha is her lead, and I lead off with our newest member, Chatot. We have a unique flying move in Chatter that always confuses, so I go for that. It does fantastic damage, and Hawlucha hits himself. Perfect for us. Dianthra full restores her Luchador bird, but another Chatter, some more great damage, and another confusion. With a final Chatter from our Chatot, I wanted that to be a tongue twister, we take down Hawlucha. Up next, Dianthra chooses Tyrantrum. We've got to switch, so we U-turn for a little bit of damage into our Gramble, who is now a fairy type, and intimidates, lowering his attack, as he actually misses a head smash too. Karma bites us as we miss a Play Rough, and Tyrantrum lands a head smash for massive damage even at -1, but takes a lot of recoil too. We finally hit a Play Rough, and that knocks out the T-Rex. Third is Aurorus, the ice dinosaur. We connect a super effective rock slide, bringing him to the red as he sets up a reflect, boosting his team's defense. Down for full restores, but an earthquake from our Gramble brings him back to the yellow. One more earthquake, and down goes Aurorus. Gramble's putting in some solid work. She now chooses Gudra. With a reflect, this thing is tanky, but I stay in and play rough, and we actually do a lot more than I thought we would, as the Fire Blast puts us on only 16 HP however. One more fairy type attack, and Gudra is no more. She now sends out Galgeist. We have to swap, so into Chatter I go, as Galgeist goes for a Shadow Sneak. We now hit a Chatter, bringing Galgeist low and confusing him, as Galgeist hits itself. Diantha full restores, but you know the drill, we bring her straight back down with another attack. A final Chatter seals Galgeist's fate, and only one Pokemon remains, and that's Gardevoir. Diantha Mega Evolves as our U-turn does a great chunk of damage. We go into our Luxray for the first time and take the Thunderbolt really well. Mega Gardevoir then hits a Moonblast, putting us really low as we Volt Switch back into Chatter. We are faster, we know that, and a Steel Wing that critical hits, although I don't think it matters, defeats Mega Gardevoir, beating Diantha and Generation 6. It's time for Alola. How is the person we fight to become champion here in Alola, and his team is always a rough battle for us. I'm not sure how I can deal with Incineroar's Z moves or Tauros this time. How's lead is an Alolan Raichu, and I decide to lead off with Luxray. A psychic attack actually brings us to below half straight away, as a super effective Crunch makes short work of the psychic Raichu. How's next Pokemon is a threat, Tauros. I have a lot of Intimidate users, so it's best to swap to Gramble, as the Earthquake doesn't actually do too much to us. Tauros now goes for a Double Edge, which does a lot more damage to us, as our play rough brings him pretty low too. I now go into Arcanine and get off another Intimidate, putting him at a -2 attack, as a Double Edge on the swap still does nearly half to us. I expect How to heal, so I Flamethrower, but he actually Earthquakes, bringing Arcanine low now too, before we finally take him out with another attack. I could have actually Extreme Speeded there, ouch. Crabominable, the Ice Crab is next, and one Fiery Flamethrower melts a crab for an easy knockout. How's Ace Incineroar is out. I swap into Swanna, who dodges the Earthquake. We are faster now, so a super effective Surf does over half, as he just Darkest Lariats, bringing Swanna low. This means we don't even give him chance to Z-move and take him out with a final Water type attack. How now sees a kill with Leafeon, but we have a Flying type with a Stab move and great special attack stat, so an Air Slash takes out his Leafeon, leaving only one Pokemon left, Noivern. This thing is a problem however. Not many things could take an attack now and live. None of our Pokemon can switch in safely, as it's too fast as well, so I choose to sacrifice Chatot, who I loved using, bringing our deaths to 6. RIP little bird. This however gives us a free switch to Manectric. We take a Dragon Pulse, but not very well, and we Hidden Power Ice, critical hitting and taking out Noivern, defeating How and defeating Alola. It's time for the Switch games. The first champion of the Switch games is Trace from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. His team only have 3 moves, and it's usually a very easy fight. We will go for the sweep with only an Arcanine. If Arcanine falls, he falls. No going back. His lead is Pidgeot, and we lead off with Arcanine. Turn 1 we are faster thanks to really good AVs, but a Flamethrower puts him on a Sliver, as he luckily misses an Air Slash. Trace now pulls a double on us and goes into Slowbro, and our Flamethrower still does a nice chunk. The next turn we hit a Bite, bringing Slowbro to a Sliver, as he hits a Surf that actually does a good amount to us. We then finish off Slowbro with a final Bite. Trace's next Pokemon is his ace Jolteon. We dig underground and dodge a Thunder before a super effective dig takes out Jolteon with ease. So far, so good. Vileplume is Trace's next Pokemon, but being weak to fire, it stands no chance and falls to a single fire move. Marowak can hurt us and is Trace's next Pokemon. It survives a Flamethrower on a Sliver and hits a Boomerang, putting Arcanine low. Trace full restores Marowak, but we bring him back to the red with another attack. Then we can take him out with a final Flamethrower. Rapidash is Trace's next Pokemon, but we have Dig. We dig underground, dodging a Poison Jab, then a Dig finishes off the Fire Horse too. This just leaves his Mega Pidgeot left. It's severely weakened though. Trace heals him, but a Flamethrower puts him back in the red, and with a final fiery attack, Arcanine takes down Pidgeot, beating Trace and surviving another day. Let's head over to Generation 8, which I'm pretty worried about. The champion for Sword and Shield is Leon. His team is pretty strong, and we now have to make a lot of substitutes. Gramble and Swanna are not available in these games either. We add a Duosion, Herdier and a Ferrothorn to the team. Let's do this. Leon's lead is his Aegislash and we lead off with our newest member, Ferrothorn. The reason I lead Ferrothorn into Aegislash is 2 words: stealth and rocks. Aegislash King Shield, so we get up our hazard for free, which is fantastic. The next turn, Aegislash outspeeds us and hits a Sacred Sword, but it doesn't do that much damage as he takes some Iron Barbs damage thanks to our ability. We then fire off a Bulldoze while he's not in shield form and we swiftly take him down. Second, Leon chooses Dragapult. I swap to Arcanine as the Flamethrower tickles us. He then Shadow Balls us for better damage as our Dragon Pulse after Stealth Rocks puts him in the red. Leon full restores, but another Dragon Pulse brings him back down. We take one more Shadow Ball before picking up another knockout. Third is Haxorus, and this is a problem. I swap to Ferrothorn and he tanks the Earthquake quite nicely. We tank another Earthquake, putting us low as our Gyro Ball does a solid amount of damage. I look at my team and we really don't have a good switch in. Ferrothorn has done his job, so I let him fall here, putting us on 7 deaths. I go into Paldea expecting to maybe outspeed, but we don't. Haxorus hits an Outrage, but we hang on in just a sliver and hit an Ice Fang to take down Haxorus. Good dog. Mr. Rhyme, the dancing Mr. Mime, is out next. He takes 25% to Stealth Rocks. I think a Crunch will take him out, but he survives barely and takes down Paldea with a Freeze Dry, bringing the death toll to 8. However, with their sacrifices, I now have a clean switch to Manectric. We can Dynamax and hit a Max Lightning, taking out Mr. Rhyme and setting up Electric Terrain, boosting our electric attacks more. Inteleon is 5th, but being weak to Electric, it stands no chance and falls to a single Max Lightning. Last but not least is Charizard. It immediately takes 50% of its health to Stealth Rocks. Charizard Gigantamaxes, but Manectric is faster, and a final Max Lightning picks up the knockout, defeating Leon and leaving only 1 champion left in the run. The last champion we face is Geeta for Generation 9 in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. She has great type variety and some cool Pokemon too. We have to make some massive changes to the team. We lose our Manectric, who survived from the start, and we gain an Oricorio, Gumshoes, and Swanna makes a return. We have 5 Pokemon, but I think we got this. Let's do it. Her lead is a Sparfer, and we lead off with Arcanine. We are faster than the Psychic Ostrich, and a Crunch does a great amount of damage as a Lumina Crash does a little chunk to us. With a final Crunch of our Fangs, we end her first Pokemon. Second, she chooses Avalugg. I go for a Flare Blitz, but I remember Avalugg is extremely bulky defensively, so we do half, take recoil damage, then Arcanine finally falls to an Earthquake. RIP Arcanine, you were such a fun Pokemon to use. We send out Luxray next. We double kick, and that's enough to take out the Big Eye Slab. Third, she chooses King Gambit, who gets more powerful the more of her team has fallen. We double kick, doing fantastic damage but not quite knocking it out as it hits a powerful Katal Cleave, but Luxray survives. One more double kick and down King Gambit goes. Geeta chooses Go-Goat next. We Volt Switch out into Oricorio, who tanks a Horn Leech really well. We then fire off a Revelation Dance that straight up toasts the Goat. Her next Pokemon is Veluza. We hit an Air Slash doing over half, but a Liquidation leaves us on only 5 HP. She then priority Aqua Jets us, taking out Oricorio and putting us at 10 deaths. We send out Gumshoes now for some action. We are faster and a knockoff takes out Veluza, leaving only 1 Pokemon left. Geeta's Ace Glamora. She terastallizes into a pure rock type and is faster. A Sludge Wave does massive damage as our Earthquake does big damage back to her, and that activates Toxic Debris, poisoning our Pokemon on the switching. We take another Sludge Wave and down we go. RIP. We actually though have the perfect Pokemon to end the run with, and that's Swanna. We are faster, and a final Surf on the Wave beats Glamora, beating Geeta and beating every single Pokemon champion as Officer Jenny. So our total death count was 11 for this run, which I did expect a high count considering our Pokemon are not that bulky, but we're pretty great offensively. I'm happy I got to use some Pokemon I normally wouldn't again, like Chatot, Parasect and Jumpluff. I really hope you guys enjoy this run, and if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe as there's plenty more Pokemon content to come from me. And don't worry, Red, N and Nemona are all coming to the Champion Challenge too. As always, if you're still here, I appreciate you watching and I'll see you in the next one.